There's a kind of exhaustion that sleep cannot fix. You work hard. You finish the project. You get the job. You reach the goal. People tell you, you did a great job. And for a moment, you feel good. But then something strange happens. The feeling disappears. A few days later, you're already thinking about the next thing you need to achieve, the next goal, the next level, the next problem to solve. And somehow, no matter how much you do, you still don't feel like you're enough. Maybe you know this feeling. You look at your life and think, I should be doing more. I'm not where I should be. Other people are ahead of me. I need to improve. Maybe when I achieve this next thing, I'll finally feel proud of myself. So you keep moving, but you never arrive because the finish line keeps moving. And this is where the problem begins. What if your biggest problem isn't that you're not doing enough? What if you've simply trained yourself to believe that nothing you do is ever enough? And if that's true, then achieving more won't fix the feeling. It may actually make it worse, because you'll spend your entire life trying to earn a feeling that was never supposed to come from achievement. The person who always needed more. Imagine a person named Daniel. Daniel works hard. He wakes up early. He finishes his work on time. He takes care of his family. He saves money. He exercises. He keeps learning. From the outside, Daniel looks successful. But Daniel has a private problem. He is never satisfied with himself. When he finishes a difficult project, he doesn't celebrate. He thinks, that was good, but I should have done it faster. When someone compliments him, he thinks, they probably don't see the mistakes. When he gets a promotion, he thinks, now I have to prove I deserve it. And when he finally reaches one goal, he immediately creates another. Daniel is not lazy. He's not without ambition. He's simply unable to feel finished. And maybe that's you. Maybe you are always improving, but never appreciating. Always reaching, but never arriving. Always looking at what is missing instead of what is already there. The dangerous part is this behavior can look like success. People may even praise you for it. They may call you hardworking, driven, ambitious, disciplined. But inside, you are tired. Because no matter how much you achieve, your mind keeps asking for proof that you're worthy. And proof has no final number. When ambition stops being healthy, ambition is not the enemy. Wanting to improve is not the enemy. Having high standards is not the enemy. The problem begins when your achievements become the way you measure your value. There's a huge difference between saying, I want to become better, and saying, I need to become better before I can respect myself. The first creates growth. The second creates pressure. Because if your worth depends on performance, then every mistake becomes a threat. Every rejection feels personal. Someone else's success feels like evidence that you're falling behind, and resting starts to feel like wasting time. You stop enjoying your life because your mind is always evaluating it. Was today productive enough? Did I do enough? Did I improve enough? Am I behind? Could I have done more? You can spend an entire day doing meaningful things and still go to bed feeling guilty. That's not ambition anymore. That's a constant fight with yourself. The moving finish line. Have you ever noticed how quickly you get used to something you once desperately wanted? Maybe you once dreamed of getting a certain job. You finally got it. At first, you were excited. Then it became normal. You wanted more money. You got a raise. Then you wanted another raise. You wanted a relationship. You found one.
Then you started worrying whether it was good enough. You wanted to become healthier. You reached your goal. Then you found something else to criticize. This is one of the strangest things about human happiness. We adapt. What once felt extraordinary can eventually feel ordinary. And if you don't notice this, you can make a dangerous mistake. You can believe, I'm unhappy because I haven't achieved enough. So you chase another goal. You achieve it, you feel better for a while, then your mind moves the finish line again. More, more, more. And the cycle continues. The problem isn't that the new goal is bad. The problem is expecting the goal to finally prove your worth. No achievement can permanently answer that question. Then social media makes everything worse. You open your phone for 5 minutes and suddenly you're looking at someone else's best moments. Someone your age bought a house. Someone started a company. Someone traveled the world. Someone got married. Someone became successful. Someone looks healthier. Someone looks happier. And without realizing it, you compare your everyday life to someone else's carefully selected highlights. Then your brain does something unfair. It takes their visible success and compares it with your invisible struggles. You know your doubts, your mistakes, your bad days, your unfinished goals, but you don't see theirs. So you think, everyone is moving forward except me. And once again, you feel behind. But behind whom? There is no universal timeline for a human life. You are not late. You are not early. You are simply living your own life. Your path cannot be measured properly with someone else's ruler, and yet millions of people spend years trying. Why compliments sometimes don't help? Here's something even more uncomfortable. What happens when someone tells you, "You're doing great," and your first thought is, "I'm really not." Or they say, "You should be proud of yourself," and inside you immediately list 5 reasons why you shouldn't. Why? Because if you don't believe your own worth, praise can only touch the surface. You may accept the compliment for a few minutes, but eventually your old belief returns. I'm not good enough. This is why external validation never feels like enough. You can collect compliments, awards, followers, money, attention, success, and still feel empty. Because the person you're trying to convince is not everyone else. It's you. And no amount of outside approval can permanently replace the belief you have about yourself.
The hidden cost of always improving. Self-improvement has become a huge industry. Wake up earlier, work harder, read more, exercise more, build better habits, learn more skills, become more productive. There's value in all of that. But there's a point where self-improvement becomes another form of self-rejection. You start looking at yourself and seeing a project that is never finished. Your body is a project. Your career is a project. Your personality is a project. Your relationships are projects. Even your happiness becomes something you have to optimize. And eventually, you forget something important. You are a human being, not a machine. You are allowed to have ordinary days. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to be proud of progress that nobody else notices. You are allowed to exist without constantly proving that you deserve to. Growth should help you become more yourself. It should not teach you to hate who you are today. Maybe you're measuring yourself wrong. Imagine planting a tree. You don't look at it every morning and say, "Why aren't you a forest yet?" You understand that growth takes time. You water it, give it light, protect it, and let it grow. But with ourselves, we often do the opposite. We look at where we are today, then compare it to where we should be, and we become angry that the process is taking too long. You may be improving. You just can't see it because you're measuring yourself only by the distance left.
Try measuring from the other direction. Ask, who was I 1 year ago? What do you know now that you didn't know then? What can you handle now? What have you survived? What have you learned? What habits did you build? What did you stop tolerating? What became easier? You may discover something surprising. You have been growing. You were just too busy criticizing yourself to notice. Instead, ask, am I living according to what matters to me? That's a better question. Because now the focus moves from proving yourself to living your values. Maybe what matters to you is being a good parent, being honest, building something meaningful, taking care of your health, helping your family, learning, creating, being peaceful, being present. Those things don't need an audience. They don't need applause. They don't need to make you look successful. They simply need to matter to you. And when you live according to your values, you stop needing every day to prove that your life has value. You don't need to earn your worth. This may be the hardest idea to accept. You don't have to become extraordinary before you deserve respect. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be beautiful. You don't have to be highly educated. You don't have to be productive every hour. You don't have to win. You don't have to impress everyone. Your achievements can be meaningful without becoming the foundation of your identity. You can want more without believing that what you have now is worthless. You can improve without hating the person you are today. You can be ambitious without making your life a punishment. That balance matters because there will always be something you can improve. There will always be someone smarter, someone richer, someone younger, someone faster, someone more successful. If your peace depends on being ahead, peace will always be temporary. There is no final competition. There is only your life. What would change if you believed you were enough? Imagine waking up tomorrow believing, I don't have to prove my worth today. How would you behave? Maybe you would work, but without panic. Maybe you would exercise, but without hating your body. Maybe you would learn, but because you're curious, not because you're ashamed of what you don't know. Maybe you would make mistakes without feeling like the mistake destroyed your identity. Maybe you would celebrate someone else's success without turning it into evidence against yourself. Maybe you would finally enjoy the life you're always trying to improve. That doesn't mean you stop growing. It means you grow from a different place. Not, I'm broken, so I need to fix myself. But I'm valuable, and I want to see what I'm capable of becoming. Those two mindsets can produce the same effort, but a completely different life. You are allowed to be proud now. Not after the next goal. Not when you have more money. Not when you finally become confident. Not when everyone respects you. Now. Look at what you've already survived. The things you thought you couldn't handle, you handled them. The periods you thought would never end, they ended. The things you were once afraid of, some no longer scare you. You have changed. Maybe not as quickly as you wanted. Maybe not in the way you imagined, but you are not the same person you were years ago. And that deserves to be noticed. You don't have to turn every achievement into another demand. Sometimes you can simply say, I did my best today. And let that be enough. The real meaning of enough. Being enough does not mean you stop having goals. It doesn't mean you stop working. It doesn't mean you accept everything. It doesn't mean you never want more. It means your desire for more is no longer coming from self-hatred. You want more because life has more to explore, not because you need more to deserve love. That's the difference. A healthy person can say, I want to improve, and also, I am proud of where I am. Both can be true. You can want a better future and appreciate your present. You can be ambitious and peaceful. You can fail and still respect yourself. You can be unfinished and still be enough. So, maybe the problem was never that you weren't doing enough. Maybe the problem was that you were using achievement to answer a question achievement could never answer. Am I enough? No promotion can answer it. No relationship can answer it. No amount of money can answer it. No number of followers can answer it. No perfect body can answer it. No perfect life can answer it. Because if your worth depends on the next achievement, there will always be a next achievement, and the finish line will keep moving. So, stop waiting for your future self to become worthy of the love and respect you should have for yourself today. You can grow, you can change, you can improve, you can dream bigger. But you don't have to hate where you are standing while you walk toward where you're going. Maybe you don't need to become more impressive. Maybe you need to become more honest about what actually matters. Maybe you don't need another goal. Maybe you need a moment to recognize how far you've already come. And maybe the next step in your life isn't proving that you are enough. It's finally believing that you are. You are allowed to become better without believing that you are broken. And the next time your mind says, I'm not doing enough, stop. Look at your life. Look at how much you've already carried. Look at how much you've already learned. Then ask yourself, what if I don't need to prove anything today? Maybe that question won't make you less ambitious. Maybe it will finally make your ambition feel free. If this message reached you, like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who is always pushing themselves but never feels proud of how far they've come. And tell me in the comments, what is one thing you're finally going to give yourself credit for? You don't need a perfect answer. Just be honest. Because sometimes the most important step forward is realizing that you were never as far behind as you thought.